Good Packer Nation morning, guys and dolls. It is Wednesday, and yeah, Packers. It's time for the Packers to roll up their sleeves and get back to work. Weekend is coming, a Sunday evening game, so this will be interesting to see as Aaron Rodgers' record in evening games is far from phenomenal. But let me know who you are and where you're coming at me from, and we will do. I mean, it's going to be an interesting show because this Packer team they're up against it right now. They are up against it. Washington Redskins are 5-3. They're in about the same situation as the Packers in terms of their division. They're playing for it. Hector is here. Monica is here. Trent is here. Good morning, Trent. DM is here, and Oscar Samantha is here as well. But yeah, the Washington is right in their own division race. Yeah, they're still looking up at a couple teams, but they're only a game out. So this team's going to come to play. We've got to travel. Good to see you. Peter is here. David and Lauren and Aaron as well. Aaron says, diehard cheesehead from Toledo, Ohio. That's awesome. All right. Billy is here. Says good morning to everybody. Jason, what is wrong with our Green Bay Packers? And okay, this is the thing, all right? I titled the show Roll Up Your Sleeves, basically because this team absolutely has to go back to the basics. Hi there, Roger, Michael, Greg, Philip, DM. They're on a one-way road, up or down. Big game for sure. Yeah, okay, I agree. Yeah, absolutely, DM. And here's the thing, right? Okay, so, games like this, I would love to be talking about, and yesterday we talked about how let's continue to get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. We had some things going on offense. When I talk about keys to this game, this is what I'm going to talk about today. Keys to the game. But it's freaking boring, okay? Hey there, Jerry. Fidel is here as well. From Saudi Arabia again. Good to see you. It's so boring and basic because here are the keys to the game. The number one key to having a chance against the Redskins, number one, stop making hideous errors. Anybody else got a thumbs up for that? And it's so sad. Or just put the little sad face up, the crying face, the tear in your eye, because I want to talk about keys to the game being James Starks getting, upwards of 15 or 20 reps. I want to talk about, Devontae Adams continuing his dominance. What do you have? 6 catches, 160 yards or something. Career high. No, here's what we got to talk about. Number one, stop making hideous errors. And Tammy says back to the basics is right. You got to talk about it. Number two, learn how to tackle. And Dusty says, key to the game, don't trail the receivers by 6 yards. Stop making huge mistakes. Number two, learn how to tackle. Number three, for the defense, fill your proper gaps. Now, we say that. If we do these three things, we're going to have a chance. We're going to have a chance. Mark my words, we will have a chance. We will have a fisherman's chance. Was this big of a chance? Against Washington. This is a good team. This is a team that took us on last year, wild card game. Obviously, we won that game handily by the time all was said and done. But if you'll remember, first half of the game, Washington gave us everything we could handle. You can tackle the guy with a different jersey, all right? Okay, I love it. Let's do this. It's time for Captain Obvious to visit this page. So keep rolling up the comments. I love it. Tackle the guy with a jersey that's a different color than you. Let's just do Captain Obvious keys to the game. And frankly, there's a lot of truth in it, right? Mike is here from Winnipeg. Man, I haven't been to Canada for years. It's actually on my bucket list to go back and go fishing in Canada again. Spent a little time in Thunder Bay, areas like that. Even just little puddles that you just kind of find. We used to canoe into them. Freaking awesome. Brandon, no, I don't have a Packer shirt today. I got the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon on. Yeah. I get a lot of comments on this shirt. I think it's pretty awesome. Just sort of retro, you know. In fact, I'm going to make a quick mention because Jared, I don't know, I didn't see out there. I see Colonel Johnny is here again, Alex, and this should be a scary game for Washington, but will we show up? By DM, good comment. Mike's commenting on the weather. All right, yes, it's Captain Obvious comments morning. I don't know what to say. However, I do want to say this because I almost forgot, but all of the Australia people out there, if you are anywhere near Melbourne, that is where, I'm not sure, my friend Trey Hensley is playing in Australia, okay? Now, I'm going to take a moment to mention this, and you guys know I don't take time out of the show to talk about stupid things, even though I do talk about sometimes things that are not Packers. But we're going to take a momentary break because any of the Australian folks out there that watch this show, if you're anywhere near Melbourne, look out for a guy named Trey Hensley, Treyhensley. If you are interested in seeing the best guitar player you have ever seen live in your life, Trey Hensley, I've mentioned him on the show before. I've worn his hat. I need to get his hat. I should have wore his hat today. He plays bluegrass, and if you know anything about bluegrass, bluegrass is like the last sort of purest American music. It is built on just pure skill. Country has gone the way of all things as far as I'm concerned, just pure marketing and drivel. Bluegrass is holding its own a little bit. Trey Hensley will play, I don't know, he's gonna be playing with his buddy who plays the dobro, but I used to watch him around here. He would play classic rock. He'd play everything. The Pink Floyd shirt reminded me, by the way. Absolutely awesome guitar player. So if you're in Australia, you're listening, and you get a chance, give Trey Hensley a listen. You will be amazed. He is about 25 years old as well. Got to give a shout out right now to Kelly from Door County, because I used to have an uncle in Door County, and we used to go up there and pick the apples, and they would press cider, and we would drink cider right after it had been pressed. I live in Tennessee. You can't find a good apple. You can't find anything that even compares to Door County fruit. It's freaking awesome. All right. Well, a couple of shout outs we need to make. Let's see. What was I don't know. I got off track. It happens that way. Oh, yeah. We got to give a shout out to Mark Lee and Donald Driver. How about some love for Mark Lee, Donald Driver, Packers Hall of Fame? And obviously, you guys who are Packer fans know, and Brett Favre has made this clear, that the Packers Hall of Fame rivals the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, it is utterly unbelievable. And the Packers have the second most players in the Hall of Fame. I believe, even though this year is in question, we may very well go downhill. I believe the Packers have the players on the roster right now to overtake the Bears in the NFL Hall of Fame, but we definitely, look at all the love coming across. Yeah, hit that button now. Hit that heart button, especially for Donald Driver. Do I get any love for Donald Driver out there? I mean, for crying out loud. The guy was, he embodied, he's the reason the term Packer people came around. Here we go. We got Johnny is on here, number 80. Corey says maybe Driver can come back. And we got Tammy saying double D. And I don't think Tammy's talking about her cup size right now. So I shouldn't say that on the show. But yeah, Donald Driver, I mean, that smile, he was perfect. He was an unbelievable athlete, like a 7th rounder out of Elkhorn State, you know, kind of not given a chance. But guess who has the second most consecutive games played in Packer history? His name is Donald Driver, 205 games. And we were just commenting on this in the last game, the game against the whoever the heck we played last. I think I'm wanting to forget at this point. But yeah. That Donald Driver, like, does anybody remember his leaping ability? Like, he was an Olympian in terms of the high jump. And it was amazing that he could, like, just put a foot down, and he was like a flea. Like, he would just disappear, and his legs would be bicycling in the air. And we got Frank saying overcame, and I think the comment is, you know, he overcame his draft stock, his status. He just went out there and played football. He smiled through it all. He's kind of one of these come out of nowhere. Otis says congrats. And not only did he carve out a niche for himself in the NFL, he became one of the greatest wide receivers ever to play for the greatest team on the planet. Can't say enough for Donald Driver right now. Israel says he was an athlete. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. Olympic class high jumper. And we saw it, All right, Zach's making a comment right now that I'm going to bring up. Emoji me your thoughts on Favre as coach. I know that's going to ride right now. Emoji me your thoughts, Brett Favre as coach. And Bryce says Don Capers has to be on the hot seat as well. Tammy has mentioned we got some laughter, we got some wow, mostly laughter. I don't think you're getting Brett Favre off his garden tractor, to be quite honest. Well, he probably has more than a garden tractor, but and Ned says no. Jason says Starr did it, but that was not with a great amount of success. Again, this is the one thing that I think you have to always have to be careful when you're talking about firing a coach, because so much changes and it can go either way. You've got to have somebody in mind. But Otis has an early bold prediction, Edgar Bennett as the next coach. That's what they do if they get rid of McCarthy, is they promote from within, and I don't think that's the way to do it, to be honest. I think we need wholesale changes if we're going to make changes. I think we need to find a superstar. And Mike McCarthy called upon his record as a very successful head coach in the league. This is true, right up there with Vince Lombardi. However, how many games has he won in the playoffs? He has one game over 500 in the playoffs. And Mark is mentioning ex-players have a history of failure. There's a difference between playing the game. Edgar and Favre. We got, well, who's the head coach in that? Would it be, Favre as head coach, Edgar Bennett, but Edgar Bennett's been coaching much longer. So yeah, this is a team that is, they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place we talked about yesterday, because there's things that they're going to need to do to be successful, but however, the injury situation, once again, puts us up against a wall in terms of that. We've got Jason out there. There is a lot of people in Packer Nation that really want Mr. Gruden, he said. Johnny wants Favre for offensive coordinator. How about just having Favre for quarterback? Let me just throw that out there. He's probably still has a stronger arm than 90% of the players in the league. Crazy. All right, we got a call for a new GM. However, I think that's the one, if you get rid of the GM, where promoting from within, I think it makes sense to a great extent, but it's still a concern. It's if we promote Elliott Wolf, that doesn't guarantee what he's going to do. Is he's going to feel the pressure to go out and get somebody, and this is one of the things that the criticism of Ted Thompson has been. It's been perennial criticism that he doesn't go out and get anybody in free agency. But we have to remember that there are a lot of swings and misses in free agency, many more than there are home runs. Trent is mentioning Elliott. So there are a lot more swings and misses in big-time sort of top-tier free agency than there are. However, you look at this team before we started actually playing football games. And this team, and I said this, I felt like this team was one defensive player away from being a perennial Super Bowl contender. Perennial. So maybe that's what you're thinking out there, right? Like, we can swing for the fences, and we don't have to it doesn't have to be a Reggie White. We want to get somebody that just really shuts down a shutdown corner, for example. A Luke Kuechly-esque inside linebacker paired up with not Martinez, but Jake Ryan, if he could stay healthy, puts this defense in a new light, completely new light. Otis says, hire me. Go get AP and the rights to Calvin Johnson. Yeah. Okay, Jan is asking about from the college level who is qualified. No one I would say no one at the college level is qualified to take McCarthy's place at this point. The reason I say that is because, they would have had to have had, his kind of success at the NFL level. That is a huge risk. We know that that's a big risk. We know hiring ex-players is a big risk. We know hiring ex-college coaches is a big risk, or not ex necessarily, but promoting college coaches is a big risk. Ryan is saying Rex Ryan as the new D coordinator, and I gotta say, I like that idea because Rex Ryan, he never fails to stand up for his team. He says, we're gonna go out, we're gonna be the bully. He can't pull it off, though. He can't pull it off at the head coach level, but he would make a great defensive coordinator, I think. I think he would turn our defense around. And I'm not a fire Dom Capers guy. I know a lot of you are. I'm just saying. Virginia says she's late. We have had it thrown out, Virginia, that Rex Ryan is probably going to lose his job. How about Rex Ryan for defensive coordinator? Anybody got any emoji thoughts on that one? Let's do a straw poll in Packer Nation right now. I think this is going to be an interactive show today. Joaquin says Mike Tomlin, except, and honestly, I feel like Mike Tomlin with the Steelers is kind of like Mike McCarthy with the Packers. He's sort of run his course, it seems like. And thank you. Somebody says, I missed the name. Sorry, but said digging the Pink Floyd shirt. Thank you. Yeah, I get a lot of comments on this one. I like this shirt quite a bit. I've worn it until you see that hole in the sleeve. Gotta get that fixed. And Jeff says, I always stood up for Capers, but it's time for change. And that's the statement I agree with, is that I feel like it's time for a change. Now, if we went to defensive, now here's the thing, all right? And that was Jeff Hayes, I believe. Give me a thumbs up, Jeff, if that was you. I thought I saw the name come across. Because you and I, we're football minds, right? But here's the thing. See, Mike McCarthy's strength, and this is the reason, and I know you guys are going to hate when I say this, but I think he's a good head coach because I think he's good at administration and he's an offensive guy. I think if we were to bring in a different defensive coordinator, I actually think it would be better for our team overall because it wouldn't shake everything up quite so much. And we've got defensive personnel that, can get it done. And now I'm not exactly sure if Ryan is a 3-4 guy or a 4-3 guy off the top of my head. I'm thinking 3-4. But don't see Rex in Green Bay, says Bryce. And this is I don't either, frankly. I think if anybody's going to go, it's probably going to be McCarthy. And then there's going to be a lot of shakeup. But again, if Ted Thompson stays, we know that some of these things that we make, these ideas that we have, we know if we have an idea in Packer Nation, Ted Thompson is going to do the opposite. Guaranteed. That's the one thing that we feel sure of. And we have the comment, Dom is a genius. And he, again, I am not a fire Dom Capers guy. However, I will say this, the idea is interesting to me to bring in a guy like Rex Ryan who likes to just get out there and get after people and have some attitude. Now, here's the thing, right? We had this game against the Titans, and the talk afterward was, well, 2 games ago, the talk was we didn't have any energy. And then this week, the talk is, we had too much energy. That's where the penalties came from. I think on defense we need to have more energy. Yes, you have to play smart on defense. Defense is, you have to be gap sound, you have to do all these things on defense as well. But on defense, we have one player right now that has, and he disappeared on Sunday, but we have one player that plays with attitude, and his name is Mike Daniels. Well, no, let me correct that. I stand corrected because I know some of you are going to say, Clinton Dix also plays with attitude, right? Jason is saying, there's no life. Frankly, here's the thing. We said the key to the game, the number one key to the game is stop making stupid mistakes. If you get out there and you play with emotion and you play with attitude, that does not automatically mean that you are freaking doing the kind of stupid stuff we did. Muffing punts, even though that was a bad call. Letting DeMarco Murray run for 76 yards or whatever it was. That's a breakdown. That's a major breakdown. It has nothing to do with whether you're playing with attitude or not. What it is you're not playing with attitude and you're not playing smart. That's what we've got on this team right now. Caesar says relax. Oh my gosh. If I hear that word one more time, I will let everyone else respond to that right now. I'm just heretofore. If you say relax, you will be ignored completely on this stream. Not even, when the guy who came up with the phrase, it's been a year and a half, guys. When the guy who came up with the phrase stops saying it, okay, it's time to let it go. Jeff Hayes says Perry has his moments, and that's true, yeah. Thank you, Jose. This is a game that is anything but relaxing, okay? Now, if you're playing quarterback and you're Aaron Rodgers, you can say that kind of stuff one time, and then you get smart. I guarantee it. Anybody out there want to disagree with me? Have you heard him say that this year? You won't ever hear him say that this year. He knows better at this point. He's watched this team play football. And as of last week, I would have to have the caveat, if you can call it football. We've got... I'm reading the comment lines, I'm sorry. But hey, when is our boy Matthews coming back? And I said this yesterday. When Matthews comes back, our defense will make a major change. I have to put a caveat on that now, too. I have to put a parenthetical on that as well, because Jake Ryan was a huge hit. I don't know. Well, it's Wednesday, so tomorrow we'll be talking about the injury report. We'll see what happens. Again, we're going to have guys that we're not going to know about. And frankly, here's the situation, I believe. I believe we're once again going to get, we'll get one player back, maybe a Cook or who knows. But we will lose 3. We will have 3 that won't play. There's my bold prediction. Jovan says, nice shirt. Everybody likes the Dark Side of the Moon shirt. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty. It's prettier than the Packers gameplay right now. Now, again, that doesn't mean I'm not for these guys. I'm going to be pulling for them. Jerry says Shields most likely retiring, and I would agree. Clay's going to go on IR. Man, no. Justin. Virginia saw Pink Floyd in concert. Oh, and that's the other reason that I brought up the T-shirt, and I was talking about my friend Trey Hensley. All you Australian folks, look up Trey Hensley. He's flying into Melbourne. I'm not sure where he's exactly playing, but if you look up Trey Hensley on Facebook or treyhensley.com, you can find out what his tour dates are. You want to see this guy play. He's about 25 years old, and he is freaking awesome. Trey, all right, because, sometimes I gotta find other things to talk about, because talking about the Packers is somewhat painful. Trey Hensley, when he puts his left hand against his right hand, it looks like this. Like his left hand literally grew longer than his right. He played the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee at age 11. So I'm not kidding you when I say this kid's good. And I'm not kidding you when I call him a kid either. He's like 25. And so I always support Trey Hensley when I get a chance, because he's freaking awesome. All right? So I see Donald is here. What does Donald have here? We need to effort. We need to have effort. Matthews doesn't just make the team. Well, yeah, we have to. Yeah, but again, my prediction is that Clay Matthews takes the field, our defense changes, our sack count doubles, which isn't saying much, because if you take our sack count since he's not played, it's about 2 in the last couple of games. So maybe it's not a bold prediction, I guess, at that point. All right. So I don't even know. Tomorrow we'll start breaking this down some more, because, like I said early on the show, we got to roll up our sleeves. And yesterday, I think my early sort of scouting report is basically, obviously today we talked keys of the game, and it's just, just play basically decent football if you want to have a chance in this game, period. To be quite honest, I think that's where we're at. That if we want to have a chance right now, we've got to play, the first thing we got to do is eliminate these unbelievable errors Now, I don't think Jake Ryan's going to play. We're in, it's going to be trouble. Hey there, James. I don't, our offensive line, I don't think we're going to have TJ Lang. I do not think. I mean, TJ Lang is a warrior. If he isn't missing a limb, the guy plays. And same thing, honestly, with Bakhtiari. There's one thing you can agree or disagree about the greatness of their play. Bakhtiari has his moments where you're kind of like, TJ Lang is, he's our lockdown guard right now. I mean, we got rid of Sitton. And, we need to run the ball. We need to throw the ball quickly and then develop a running game out of that. We're going to need to manage the clock in this game. Mark my words. If we can't do that, we're going to be in trouble. But we're not going to have... I don't know about Bakhtiari. I think we're going to be missing both of those guys. So we talked about, we had depth at O-line in training camp. Because we had Corey Lindsley was our backup center, And we had drafted Jason Spriggs. Well, we saw how, Jason Spriggs is still getting his feet wet as an NFL tackle in this league, period. And I'm high on the guy, eventually. So he's getting some snaps, but our offensive line is going to struggle, I think, in this game. Our defense is going to struggle, I think, in this game to keep points off the board because we're going to be missing Jake Ryan. And we'll see if Clay Matthews plays, it's going to be a different defense. However, I think with Jake not in there, you got Thomas, you got Martinez, you got some guys that have done some good things. But it's gonna be an interesting game. And of course, on Friday we're gonna roll out all your predictions along with mine. Now, give me a little sad face right now if you are struggling with predicting a Packers win at this point. Like, we're Packer fans, right? We want to predict wins every week. We want to predict wins every week because we want the team to win every week. I'm struggling with this prediction. Gordon says we have to have a running game or we're not going anywhere. And we saw this with Aaron Rodgers and no running game. We saw this before Brett Favre left when we had no running game, how we struggled to get where we wanted to be. Myself, my brother, we were talking about this 8 years ago. That the running game is not the absolute crucial component. You can plug in running backs here and there. But you have to have a run game. And Sean is mentioning comfortably numb. I see some predictions already rolling across the screen. 10-point loss to the Redskins by the Packers we have. Jeff says Clark was a #1 pick and he needs to play like one. And this is the time. Like what did I say before? We were watching him in the preseason and he was struggling a little bit. He wasn't making a big impact. But we said, this kid's going to get in the rotation. Pennell was out, blah, blah, blah. He's going to get some reps. This is going to be great. So, Jeff, you're absolutely right. You got picked #1, and you are not breaking any stereotypes of Ted Thompson right now, are you? Anybody got any emoji response to the stereotypical Ted Thompson first-round draft pick? Adam says special teams have not been playing well at all. Weston's got the Packers by 3, okay? I will take it, Weston. I will take it. I will take a win. And again, I think to be in this game, the first thing we got to do is eliminate the absolute stupid errors. I don't see Washington as the same high-powered offense, the scoring offense that the Titans are. So I think there is an opportunity here. Excuse me. However, and we got the comment rolling across, Washington is coming for us. They remember what happened last year. Jeff's going to wait till Friday. Yeah, I'm not reading too much, but no expectation. Yeah, it's kind of a blasé Wednesday for Packer Nation, I think. However, one thing, hey, next summer, I think it's July 22nd, Donald Driver going to get inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame. Going to be a nice ceremony there. I don't know if maybe some of you are planning to go to that one, try and get some tickets. If you have one for me, just give me a holla, right? I will make the trip. So, yeah, 13 rush attempts isn't going to cut it, right? And the 13 rush attempts from the Titans game was part and parcel of going down, making such a huge error. Number one, stalling out on offense when Joe Thomas did a good job picking up the surprise onside kick, turning his back to the coverage unit, covering the ball up, and we go out and we stall out completely, 3 and out. And then our defense on the first play from scrimmage, if it's not our special teams, it's our defense on the first play from scrimmage, inside of like 30 seconds of every start of the game, end of the half, and end of the game, it seems like we give up a touchdown. What's going on with that? All right, and this is why yesterday I said I'd like to hear these coaches stop towing the party line a little bit. And there is something going on, all right? Okay, it's time for another straw poll. Emoji me your response to the following statement. There is something going on between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers right now. Is it just me, guys? Emoji me your response. I need to know what Packer Nation thinks right now. Rosie is here. Do you blame Rodgers, offense, defense, or the coaching? I would say D, all of the above. I don't know, maybe D was coaching. Rosie, I'm going to answer Rosie's question while you guys tell me. Emoji me your response. Something is going on between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, okay? So Rosie, I'm going to answer your question to the best of my ability. I know you were asking everybody out there, so everybody can. Yeah, Jeff says all of them. Here's my answer to that question is we've seen the problems on this team move around. We've seen, right? Early on, would you not have said Aaron Rodgers is really not playing like Aaron Rodgers, Rosie? Would you have said that? Yeah, probably. I mean, early on, we wouldn't have said, this defense just sucks. They're a sieve. Early on, we would have said this defense has at least given us a chance. Now, then we saw this defense gives up practically a 50-burger to the Tennessee Titans. And Tennessee was a scoring team. I think they averaged like 26 points, but that's not 50, folks. And then you saw receivers out there. We've got one receiver we can count on right now, and his name is Davante Adams, guys. Does that not scare anybody? And then, okay, so to answer your question, when I see the problem move around like this, then I've said before, I think that I start to see that there's a culture that's developing of letting things go, letting imperfect play be okay. And that's where I start to point. If you got to start from the top down at that point. Culture begins from the top and it works its way down, generally speaking. I know there are exceptions to this rule, but this is not Bastille Day, okay? This is Packer football. Somebody's making more. How often do you see 21 points in one quarter? Good point, right? The problem moved. Now we're not sure what our defense is going to do on a given Sunday. And then you add to that the special teams play is poor. Okay, so this problem has moved around. And obviously, I've said too, and I'm agreeing with you that Aaron Rodgers has been playing better. But now you've got play calling issues from time to time. So I think at this point, this is a team that needs a change of culture. And that's why I say, if you're going to push me into a corner and make me pinpoint one problem, which again, I had this conversation, it's much easier in manufacturing. You do your 5 whys, you do your root cause analysis, and you find out what's wrong. It's not quite that simple when you're talking about a football team. There's way too many moving parts. But I've got to start pointing to the coaching staff that there needs to be a change made when I feel like the culture of this team is lackluster, mediocre, whatever moniker you want to put on it, whatever appellative you desire, right? So there's my thoughts on that, Rosie. Virginia says TT is the problem. And again, if I'm talking from the top down in a culture change, you gotta bring the GM into that conversation, right? It doesn't get much topper than general manager. Jerry says we need new plays and not the same crap every week. I mean, good grief, we've got 21 different personnel groups. I mean, and we get kind of locked in. If we go down 21 points in the first quarter, I can promise you what the plays are going to be. you got to sling the ball around. You need to freaking, you got to move the ball. So, yeah. All right. Well, yeah, it's an interesting Wednesday. It's a very interesting Wednesday. And I keep going back to shout outs to Donald Driver because I feel like he represents what now I almost feel like are quickly going to become the good old days. Ouch. Seriously. Shouldn't have to say that. Carayo says Tomlin would be a good fit. You can give your thoughts on that. Benjamin says still has hopes. Yeah, and to be quite honest, and this is one of the things that Aaron Rodgers says. He says, you try to get to the playoffs and then anything can happen. The struggle I have is gosh, this team should be getting healthy. Like, was that not the talking point 2 weeks ago that this team is going to start trending to be healthy? And if we trend toward healthiness at the end of the year, even though we've struggled in the middle of the year, that by the end of the season, Sean Payton's being mentioned, Brandon, and we didn't get him when we hired Mike McCarthy. So as long as Ted Thompson's a GM, I don't know. I think he saw something wrong with Payton for some reason. I don't know. We shall see. Good coach. McCarthy, Rhodes, Sherman, the dark days. Well, I wouldn't put McCarthy in with the dark days. We've been spoiled, to be quite honest. But you look at the personnel we have, and we should be better. Straw poll number 25 of the day. Should this team not be better than sub 500? Is it just me? Or should this team not be better than sub 500? Seriously. So, we can get back to 500 this week, this Sunday night. Got to wait a little longer this time around. Maybe we can get healthy because we play the night game. Rodgers does not kick butt and take names in night games typically, but like Rosie, I think Virginia has mentioned this as well. I believe he has been playing better. Caesar is asking, do I think the Pack wins the division? Very good question, right? Because we're still in it. If you were gonna tell me the odds, I would have to say no. Because I'm looking at who we're playing. We got 2 more NFC East rivalry games. Maybe that's not the right term to use, but yeah, we beat the Giants, and the Giants are a trending upward now. I think they're second in the division. Yeah. Giants are at 6-3. Obviously, the Cowboys are the cream of the crop in the NFC East. We can't touch them. I don't think we can hold a candle to them. I think they're walking into home field advantage throughout. I just don't think we can do it. I think if we had Eddie Lacy and our offensive line was intact, I think we would have a chance. We're in the hunt, Rosie's saying. And yeah, that's true. Absolutely. But if the question was, do I think we win the division? And I'm looking at, Washington, and then of course, it doesn't get any easier from there because then we got to go to Philadelphia after that. And then we got Texans and then the Seahawks. Seahawks December 11th. And then we've got the entire run in December of NFC North. Then the rivalry games come about. So we're definitely in the hunt. There's no question about it. The question is, the real question that's in front of this team is, can they get things together? Can they stop making the errors? Can they get back to their... And Wes, I think, mentioned it this week. The Packers' Super Bowl is against Washington, period. And I completely agree. Packers' Super Bowl is against Washington, period. And, oh my. We got another one calling... I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to bring attention to that comment. You guys know what it was if you listen to the rest of the show. We need to shape up or ship out, exactly. And here we go with the RE fill-in-the-blank question again, which is just, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to make this very clear. The absolute last thing we need to do is relax, period. I will mic drop with that because that is just pure logic at this point. That's not what you do at this point. I feel like, have you ever played a freaking sport? What the heck? Roger said that because he had confidence in his team, and that's why thank you, Lindsay. Good Lord, I can't believe that old tired phrase is still out there. Sean, I'm not on the opposite side of that either. I'm not hitting the panic button. I had this conversation yesterday. The last thing I want is for our leadership to panic. I want our leadership to instill pride in this team, right? I know some of you heart me on that one. I want this leadership to say, this is unacceptable. Get in there and freaking, we said Vince Lombardi would be rolling over in his grave. You know exactly what he's saying out there because you've heard it replayed again and again and again. Strutting the sideline, asking what the cuss is going on out there is what Vince Lombardi is saying right now. And this coaching staff has it upon them right now. If they want to keep their jobs, period. This is, obviously they're not going to ask me about this. But if they want to keep their jobs, they need to find a way to instill some pride in this team because they are playing like a Division II college school right now. Donald says our coaches look like zombies. And this, I said this like, seriously, I said this 2 months ago, guys, that especially the coaching staff. I said this coaching staff, the zombie comment is pretty accurate, I think. I said this coaching staff looks like they don't have a clue what to do with this team right now. So we will see. Hopefully this is the week we start to get it together, because if we don't, like I mentioned last, our chance, probability-wise, our chances of going to the playoffs stand right now, when you're a 4-5 team, at 12%. If we lose on Sunday night, it goes down to 6%. That's right, DM. You know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about, what Vince Lombardi would be saying if he saw what this team is doing. Hector says, fire McCarthy and hire me. Well, okay, but we need to have I want to do the interview, okay? I want to do the interview, that's all. That's my only stipulation, right? Virginia's got a great comment. They need to remember who we are and what we do. All right? You could close the show on that, I think. Because, again, like I said, my bucket list dream thing to be able to do, I have two of them, but one of them is to speak to the team before a game. I know exactly what I'd talk about, and it would have to do with that exact comment by Virginia. The fact that our team is just oozing with historical. I mean, we're the builder team of the NFL. And we remain so to this day as the smallest market in the NFL. Virginia gets the mic drop. That's right. Give you a little love right now. But this team has the history, Arizona Cardinals, you get this, right? That they call upon themselves as being like older than we are and the rival that we don't have the history that they do. They didn't even stay in the same city, for crying out loud. You are off the list. You go to Chicago, you move around, screw you as far as I'm concerned. It's the Green Bay Packers. It's 13 championships. It's the only team in the world that has three-peated champions, and we've done it twice. Anybody out there have Steeler fans that like to call upon the Super Bowl as the championship? The Super Bowl wasn't even the championship the first 2 years it was played. It was a joke, because the AFC was a joke. AFL. "13 championships. I had this argument. It's always a short argument if you make it with me, that the Steelers have the most championships out there. Oh, no, they don't. Not even close. Packers had 3 championships before the Steelers ever came into existence. All right, so no offense to my Steeler fans, but you don't want to have that conversation with me. Because the championship is greater than the Super Bowl, period. Anybody who knows the history of the NFL understands that. If it wasn't for Packers championships, the Super Bowl would never have become what it is today. And once again, while I'm on a little bit of a mic drop, because it's Packer pride time. I don't care, still, I bleed green and gold, right? Because I love it. No matter who wins the Super Bowl this year, all right, mic drop of the day. No matter who wins the Super Bowl this year, you can give me a little love for this one fact. Whatever team, I don't care, of the 32 teams from now until the end of time, the end of NFL football, every team that is a champion will find itself at the foot of Vince Lombardi. Am I right or am I right? They will all be standing underneath greatness of Vince Lombardi. You will see it every single year when they lift the Lombardi trophy on high. What they're basically doing, symbolically speaking, for all of our fans, is true greatness. Boom. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you go. This has been a conversation, right? We're not above, calling our team out. They have pride. We have pride. My feed is going to crap right now. So we'll just close out with a few comments. Donald says Green Bay, America's team, the original America's team. And that's what we were. And I'm going to be talking to a guy named Wayne Larrivee who grew up, I believe, in New York and was Packer fan from the get-go. Packers are the original America's team. Make no mistake. All right, I think we need to get out of the past. No, you won't ever hear me. Okay, I see what he's saying. Tim is saying we need to get out of the past. Our offense is a 10-year-old system. And the only caveat I would cast on that is we've gone way off of our system this year. Our offense has not been in the system at all this year. We tried that at the beginning of the year, but the injuries quickly, and we didn't have a running back, So, DM says home of the tundra. Oscar's saying Jim Harbaugh. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he would. I think he's probably having a pretty good time where he's at right now. He's making great money. Gets to play, coach the college game, which has got to be a lot more fun. Honestly, for all the vitriol that's out there for Mike McCarthy, one thing I think we should say is I don't know that anybody really wants to sit in that hot seat and be him right now. I'm not referencing the comment earlier that other coaches would want to come in and have that job. I think it'd be a great job to have. But I don't think, you got to kind of feel for Mike McCarthy. He makes his money too. He's in contract, as Jerry's making comment. Yeah, that's not going to. All right. Maurice is here. He's going to have to watch the show later. Hey, listen, we get underway, boy. And you guys know this. We get going. It's time. When it's time for Packer Nation. Good Packer Nation morning. It's a good Packer Nation morning. One thing around here where I'm at is, there have been wildfires that are really kind of out of control, and our air quality has gone down where you're actually smelling it when you walk out. I used to like to go for walks, and the last couple of days I haven't. So things could be worse. We've still got a great team. We've still got a team that we love. We've got a lot of great history. We still have a chance in the division. Once, if you can win the division race, you may get some people back healthy. And we will see what happens. All right. Well, folks, I'm going to let you go with that. If you haven't gotten into our game, just go to firefan.com and put in Get the Ring. This is our trophy for my league. Later this week, I will be asking you guys to name our league. Firefan's the name of the game. So you go to firefan.com, you put in Get the Ring, and you fill out your information, and then you will be notified when the game comes out, which is next week. If you get in now, you're going to get some perks. You're going to get some extra tokens. You're going to get a badge that says that you were one of the originators, because frankly, if you get in now, you're getting in before anybody even knows this thing exists. Well, people know it exists, but you can't find it. You can't go to Play Store. It's not out. You're going to play live. You're going to play with the Packers. None of this fantasy crap where you got to pick players from other teams. You're going to make all the coaching calls you used to make, and you're going to get credit for them for a change. And you're also going to get to smack talk your friends when they screw up. Okay? All right, Bryce has got a good comment right now. Let's close the show with this. Let's get back in the W comment column this week. Want to see our guys have some fun. They need it. And I agree. I agree. They need it. You notice that, I think it was the Detroit Lions game where you saw Jordy Nelson with a little fire, having a good time out there. And Oscar says, "Go Pack, go. We got this. Let's go." All right. So as we close the show, why don't you just throw up a heart for a Go Pack, go? Let's just do Go Pack, go right now. This is our team. This is our team. Hopefully getting back on the right path in the W column comes Sunday night, guys. Well, you have a great day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Same pack time, same pack place. Remember to get the ring. It's firefan.com, and put in "get the ring," all one word. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.